Hi, I'm Dianna Dilworth, Executive Editor of Brand Innovators.
Hi, Andy Kauffman. I'm with Marriott International.
Tell me about how you're thinking about customer.
Customer. It's a big question. First and foremost, when we look at travelers, we are, for those that don't know, we're the largest hospitality company in the world with almost 10,000 hotels, 240 million members. But also we have and that's on what we'd call the B2C side, but we run a B2B business. And when you look at meeting planners and corporate travelers and the like, all of that is customers. So we have our members, we have our guests, we have customers, and it becomes this really extensive, ecosystem in a lot of ways that ultimately drives travel. That travel typically is monetized for us through hotel stays, but more and more is really about the experience itself. And so it's not just a stay, it's an experience. And I know we'll talk about where we're headed with things like that, but we are really going beyond the hotel.
Can you talk about the importance of emotion in your marketing?
Yeah. So I'm a firm believer, and I spent a lot of time in travel, and then I spent time at the Walt Disney Company for years, spent time at the National Football League, and so I've learned from some tremendous storytellers in my career. And at the core of everything throughout each of those that I've seen, it's not just about what you want a customer, a guest, a perspective, whatever target you want to say in marketing terms, what you want them to do. But it's more critical on how you want them to feel. What's the Maya Angelou quote? People don't remember what you asked them to do, but remember how you made them feel. That is so true for marketers, and much of the marketing that's out in the marketplace, it doesn't make you feel anything. But when it does, it's memorable, it breaks through, and then it motivates you to want to engage with that brand even more. When you engage with them more, you tend to start to buy them, like them, stay with them, be loyal to them, and the like. And so, there's that whole debate of like brand versus performance, which I think is a silly debate because it's clearly both. And I think it starts with how you make someone feel for your brand.
Mm-hmm. I love how you were talking about that as an actual KPI.
Yeah. I think how marketers act, if you think about the briefing process for marketing, it starts with a brief, gets to a target audience, it's filled with some consumer insights. It's what do you want them to do? What's the value that if they take that action, it creates for your company? And with my team, I talk a lot about all those things, but I also ask them, what do we want the customer or the person watching this or engaging this to feel as they do? And then why I think that's so critical is it's not just the emotion that individual feels, but it bridges over to the personality that else you're going to deliver to them to inspire that feeling, what the storyline is, how you're going to deliver it. Is it serious? Is it using humor and the like? And I think all of that has to be heavily discussed and debated versus just looking at a piece of creative and saying, yeah, that feels right. Let's go with that.
So you launched a new retail media network.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we don't think of it as a retail media network. We actually it's a curated travel network, and why that's important to us is we're not trying to do what other retail media networks are doing. First, we have 240 million members around the world. We've built an extensive profile on each of them with 200 plus attributes. That is connected to our MarTech stack that enables us to orchestrate experiences across our outbound communications, so email, SMS, and push, our digital communications, our digital experiences in the websites and the app, and as well as connecting that to our hotel rooms. So when you walk into a room, you are now logged into that room, and that 55-inch or greater television screen that's sitting there knows you, welcomes you by name. We can tailor the content that it shows based off of what we know about you. That was all designed for our marketing team to drive our business KPIs for the company. What we realized was the bones of that and the capabilities that we enabled can also benefit our partners. But we want to work with our partners in a very selective way by bringing them and inviting them in to work with us in delivering a experience that warrants interrupting someone in an intimate space like their hotel room. And so we're not just going to take ads for ads' sake. We are going to build relevant brand experiences that ultimately help the traveler, create value for the partner in a new, unique way that used to be a money camp, or it has historically been not somewhere they could get into, and drive some value for the company at the same time. That's sort of the three-legged stool we think about.
I know I saw yesterday a panel with Peggy Rowe from your team, who was talking to George Russell, and who's a F1 driver.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
pretty
talk
amazing.
about the importance of sort of showing up in these cultural moments and sponsorships in these places?
Yeah, so first, at the core of what we know is post-pandemic, people are valuing experiences disproportionately more than material goods. And that's all centered around the things that they care about, or what we would call their passions. And so we've leaned into passion points in a big way, but link that to not just the people, but the places that they go. And so when you get that together, you have your people, your places, and your passions. May center around sports, may center around music, or culinary, or fashion, or wellness. These are all things, reasons and passion points that people are traveling. And so yesterday we had an incredible panel as part of our Marriott Bonvoy Moments, which we offer our members. We often invite them in to the partnerships that we have created, and thus the talent that we have. And so George Russell, an incredible F1 driver, we have a relationship with F1 and Mercedes Petronas. He's he just won the Montreal race over the weekend, and so he joined us to talk about not just what it's like to be a driver, but more so how he's a frequent business traveler. And I love the whole dialogue there around him being a frequent business traveler and his travel habits and the things that he does on the road and how he needs the space to be dark and quiet, and then what he sort of his travel hacks to make that. And I think that's a little bit of the magic that we can offer to our members. And when they see it from someone that aligns with their passions, they just get more and more engaged with us. And then that further drives the sort of the flywheel of the business.
Right, so it goes back to that customer experience.
Without a doubt. And we're not making that about buy now, buy a hotel room at this moment. Really, we're having a conversation with someone who is a frequent business traveler, but happens to be an F1 racer. And we've built this whole platform that we call, I mentioned before, Marriott Bonvoy Moments, that brings access into these once-in-a-lifetime experiences. You can go sit at the chef's table at these, Michelin star restaurants. You can go experience a Super Bowl in ways that money can't buy. F1, NCAA, all these things around, again, sports and music, culinary, because that's what people travel for, but it's also what they just get excited for in their daily lives.
Absolutely. My last question was about you were talking about how you think about your audience members and how you're kind of flipping the script and not necessarily just promoting different brands, because you have a number of brands within the portfolio. So how are you really thinking about personalization and making sure that you're speaking?
Yeah, early in my career, somebody said to me, I will never forget this. One of my mentors in the digital and personalization space said to me, most personalization fails not because you don't have the data, not because you don't have the tech, because you don't have anything meaningful to say. And so thus that's a content problem. And what I'm excited about is that we have such a breadth of travel offerings. We have the deepest portfolio in the world of hotels. We have thousands and thousands of experiences we can offer. We have all of this travel expertise that we can offer. And with our strategy of understanding people really deeply, we can start with them and their needs and match that to the offering that we offer, versus the historical way of most marketing. It starts with a brief and then the brand says what they want to say and finds the people that likely are going to be open to hearing it. This flips the model. It really flips the script to say, start with the need of the customer. What offerings do we have that matches to that? And I think that's actually what will drive personalization. So I think we're finally here, and AI is going to be a big role in that to get us the scale that's necessary to have all the permutations that enable us to really deliver that relevant experience.
Amazing. I think this was great. Was there any other?
No, I appreciate it. I mean, it's a beautiful spot. I just kind of want to turn around and stare at the water.
Enjoy the view.
But I really appreciate it. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.